2017, like I'll just kind of like explain you got like take
Yeah.
you through it real quick, but in like around like the adpocalypse in 2017, remember that?
Oh man, it
Like
was like April or
yeah, a
something.
lot of people in the Faze house in Newport like kind of got demotivated around that time and like stopped making videos and or just slowed down on it, but I kept my foot on the gas. I kept doing it. I was constantly like driving to LA, driving back to Newport, like flying here, doing the like still doing my thing, and
Grinding.
I was told by someone that if I proved myself and like showed that like I really wanted this, I would be able to, when the lease is up, I'd be able to get my own place in LA and like it would be covered for and I can move in whoever I wanted. And
The
so
Marley house,
yeah,
right?
so I was like, you know what, that's amazing. Like I'm gonna work right towards that. And so I did exactly that for like 8 months. I just and I was like at the time there was a lot of really like there was like I was going through a really bad breakup that really affected me in a negative way. And then fast forward to 2018, I leave the Phase House to go start my own Phase House in LA because everyone at this point is kind of like slowing down. They're kind of like working on other things.
Yeah.
I moved to LA. I get the house. I think both of you guys remember. I'm pretty sure you guys were both.
Of course.
But like, you know, I was able to do that, and I quickly we secured the house. Banks helped me look for it, and I was so excited and so ready.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was told by this same person that I can't post videos in this house and I can't do anything until the situation gets sorted out with the guys in Newport.
I remember that.
Wait, really?
Yeah,
You couldn't
because-
post content?
Yeah, no, I was told I was told I literally couldn't. He told me that, and I was like, wow, like what I just like every day I would wake up all every day of the week, 7 days a week, all my whole time. I was editing my own videos, I was cutting them up, I was sending notes to T-Wop. And I finally get there and I'm like, wow, like now what? And this is December, like the most important. This is like the most important time to if anyone watching this doesn't understand, like you could post a video in January, but if you post that same video in December, you can make 10 times the amount of money, which isn't something that motivated me, but
In a
it's
way, it
ob-
does.
like
Plus.
obviously it's like you want to make that happen.
course.
And I was just so pissed, and I was already having a hard time mentally. Like I didn't really address a lot of my like feelings or emotions about what was going on in my life. And so I found myself sitting around in this massive house all day doing nothing. So I resorted to some just like poor ways to deal with this like depression, this sadness, which was awful. And then
Yeah, that's
like
the
no
worst
one
part.
even really knew. I was in my room all day.
Yeah.
This is the craziest part about this whole thing. I go to get like my Postmates one day, and I would normally grab it and run back up to my room and just stay there. But I grabbed it and I heard people in the movie theater downstairs. It was Nick Cleveland, and Nikon. They were playing 2K. So I was like, you know what? I've been in my room all day, probably for a couple days now. Let me just go down to the movie theater and eat my food while I watch them play 2K. And that was the last thing I remember. That was the last thing I remember. The next thing I remember was waking up in a gurney, on a
remembered
gurney, handcuffed to a gurney in the back of an ambulance.
What?
And I had a seizure. I had a seizure on the floor of the movie theater.
Oh
I
my
didn't remember. I
gosh.
just woke up in the like this. It sounds crazy. I woke up and it's like, you know, like when you see these scenes in movies, it's like blurry and like their
Yeah.
heads turning and you can't really make anything out. That's how it was. And the only thing I saw, the only person I saw when I was in that ambulance was the guy who told me I couldn't make videos, who promised me that if I worked hard enough that he would put me in a position that I wanted to be in, let me do what I wanted to. And then as soon as I got there, as soon as I brought everything there, he pulled the rug out from under me and I woke up and I just saw him.
What
And
the
and I'm
hell?
handcuffed to a
It's
gurney.
like a nightmare.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
sounds like a actual nightmare.
Yeah, it was crazy, and he's just like, it's gonna be okay, it's gonna be okay. So I had a seizure, and the thing is, like, when people have seizures alone by themselves, that a lot of those times those people end up dying. Like that's a high cause of death. It's happened before to a lot of people, and
Is it because like they could hit their head
they
somewhere?
could hit their head, they could bite their tongue, they could
Ooh.
choke on their blood. There's just no one there to stop them. And
Yeah.
the thing is, any other situation, I would have been in this big ass room on the entire fourth floor by myself. No one would have seen me. No one would have heard me. I would have been by myself, and God knows what would have happened. But I grabbed my Postmates and I like faintly heard people in the movie theater. So I went down to the movie theater, and the next thing I remember was waking up in incredibly like aching pain in my head.
Oh my god.
And seeing this guy, and then like kind of like going back out of it, and waking up in a hospital, and I was in like a hospital like facility type of place for like 8 or 9 days, and it was miserable. It was miserable. I was in there for a while, and I remember just being super sad in this place, thinking like, how has this happened? Like, where are my friends? Like, why are my friends not coming and saying it? Like, and I don't have a phone in there. I don't have a phone.
You don't?
For like 8 to 10. It was like 8 days or something. I don't have a phone, and like the people who like I really considered like my friends at the time, like obviously I know now things were different, but I was like, I can't believe like a lot of these people who I really like cherished our relationships, they didn't even really reach out. They didn't even like pull up like and stuff like that. And I know if situations were different, it wouldn't have been like that.
I'm just like thankful that like you heard Nikon and Nick in the theater, because honestly, that was definitely a sign. Like that was definitely like, I'm pretty sure that was God. Yeah. Because like there's things like that happen where like if you didn't hear them and if you went back to your room like you were for the entire month, like who knows what could have happened. So I'm glad that it turned out that way, and I'm glad that like you're here today 100%. Like that's
I was on like the ground of the floor, and Nikon said he had to come like grab my head because I was smacking my head uncontrollably like against like the wall or something.
That's so scary.